What is going on, Roundtable Sports, and welcome on into another episode of Draftaholics. Today, we are going to be doing Mock Draft 2.0. 2.0 here, being with trades. This is the first ever mock draft we've done with trades. We're a little bit late, starting about 8 minutes later than we usually do, because we're all trying to figure out, well, how do we do this? Do we go pick by pick or do we swap the teams? We were here trying to figure this out like it was a crazy mathematical problem. So there might be some trial and error, but I think we figured it out. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out Mock Draft 1.0 that we did last week. That was with no trades. You guys absolutely killed it. Almost at 3,000 views. We appreciate the support so much. Make sure on your way, and you guys hammer that like button and subscribe here to Roundtable Sports for more Draftaholic shows and Wake Up and Ball featuring Richie and TD Monday through Friday. But Dose, you're going to be on the clock first. Then it's going to be me. I have the second. Then we got Broshima at third and Derek at fourth. Dose, what do you want to do here?
Yeah, I'm going to throw a wrench immediately into this. Okay, when Dan was like, hey, let's do trades, like, well, let's make this thing fun because now we all get some access to move around. And I don't know who's going to jump at this, but I assume something's going to go down once I make the selection. So at pick one, I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders. I'm not going to go outside of quarterback. I'm still going to roll with the quarterback here. But look, I mean, there was reports a couple of weeks ago that like, oh, maybe they do like Shedeur number one. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true. I think that you could have people that would like Shedeur a little bit better if they feel good about the Deion Sanders situation. Maybe something does surprise this happens. I still can't get to taking something that's not a quarterback here. Like, you can't roll with Will Levis. So I'm going to take a quarterback, but now with Cam Ward available, I think some craziness might happen.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on that pick, I mean, it's that controversy again, right? Who do teams view as quarterback one? Is it Cam Ward? Is it Shedeur? I still think it's Cam Ward. I think it's always been Cam Ward. I think he's miles better mentally. He's miles better in terms of his physical attributes. But with the quarterback position, it doesn't come down to necessarily who's the pure better talent, but also who fits in your system the best. And if they feel Shedeur fits their system the best, then that's the guy that they should roll with. Derek, what do you think about this?
Hey, I mean, I figure tight end or a quarterback, I definitely think could be what the Tennessee Titans will go with. You know, I said last week I thought Cam Ward was going to be that one, but I know that the Titans have, talked with Sanders and, they've said that they've liked what they've heard from him. Who knows what goes on behind closed doors, and, a lot of crazy things can happen. So, you never know until you see it.
What about you, Brochmel? What do you think about Shedeur going first overall?
I think the betting odds favorite currently is in the favor of Cam. But I mean, the Titans, dude, they're going to do their due diligence on this quarterback class. At the end of the day, man, I feel like you're at number one. Take that swing, whoever's your guy between the two. I assume it's just the two. Take that guy. So have at it. I'll sit here and rack my brain with what happens at number three.
Well, you guys let us know in the comments. What do you think about Dose going Shedeur first overall to the Tennessee Titans? Now, second up, we got the Cleveland Browns on the clock. This is my pick. And originally, I loved the idea of going Abdul Carter. They might potentially need some help there on that defensive line, help address the trenches. I think that Abdul Carter is one, if not the best pure talent in this draft, but they also need help at the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson's just not it for moral reasons and physical reasons. At some point, they need to get their quarterback of their future, and they're getting arguably the best quarterback in this draft class.
Listen, if we're going to go down that route, I would like to propose a trade.
You got to New York Giants.
Did I say something wrong?
Spoiling your pick.
What? Well, I don't want to spoil the pick, but it's Cam Ward. I mean,
I would say don't click that just yet.
Don't click it yet. Why don't you guys don't like Cam Ward here?
As the Giants picking, no, I don't like Cam Ward right there. Unless that's me picking. So I think I would probably then, if that were the case, propose a trade. So
so what are you offering me? Go ahead and entice me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take a book from history because that listen, trade value wildly varies from year to year. So I just like to pull from history. I'm taking a look at that Mitch Trubisky trade where the Bears moved up one spot with the Niners. and see if we could get appropriate value with that. So let me just find this trade because I thought I was sitting back.
You got. I feel like Cam Ward is excellent value here, right? I mean, he's a guy that you thought was going to go first overall. He falls to second. You're a quarterback needy team. You get the best guy in the draft.
Hey. I don't disagree. I'm just saying I don't like being in that position. All right. So what it cost them was a swaps. They swapped first, and then it was a third and a fourth. So I would be offering 3, 65, and then I suppose it'd be 103. So I'd be kissing this draft goodbye. But I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with just like
the Browns have. Oh, they're not going to show me the full thing.
They have a lot of picks. They have a ton of picks in this class, and they might have a ton more by the time we get there, depending on what they do.
Well, you know what? The Cleveland Browns, if they do trade Myles Garrett, they're going to get an absolute haul of picks. So the way that I see this is get your quarterback now. You're going to have a ton of picks later to be able to get your edge rusher in a very deep edge class. I'm going best player available here.
Let me sell this to you. Let me sell this to you. You continue to acquire those picks, and then you go draft in a better quarterback class in 2026. Now you have all this arsenal to be able to move up just in case you're not a top 5, top 10 selection. Because let's be honest, they probably will be, but just in case. Now you acquire all this ammo going forward in this draft, turn that into ammo for next draft.
You know what, Bro Schmo? You sold me.
So I like it. It would be 3, it'd be 65, it'd be 103. I would only be retaining 34, and Giants fans might be like, oh, that's too much to take a quarterback. It's like, no, it's not really. Is actually relatively cheap. They have draft cap or they have cap space. I think they're actually going to go pretty in free agency because, well, they need to be competitive this year. And if the plan is to be competitive this year, you don't have a future at quarterback on the roster right now. Whoever you pick is going to be a bridge option. They need to go get it. So
I wonder if there's a world in which they would want 34, but we'll go based off of what we've seen in history. I like to go based off of what we've seen from history rather than going off of what we personally think is going to happen. I like this move, right? Because the Cleveland Browns, now they get a bunch of draft capital. They're only moving down one spot. Yes, they don't get Cam Ward, but next year's quarterback class is expected to be better. You trade Myles Garrett. Now you have a ton of picks to be able to trade up, even if you are a better team next year, to get your franchise quarterback. And now you can start building up the trenches. You can build up the D-line. You can build up the team around your future franchise quarterback by making this move. So I don't hate it. We're going to force it. And instead of me being on the clock, Bro Schmo is going to be on the clock.
Yeah, give me my quarterback. Give me Cam Ward.
Give you Cam Ward. You know what? Where is he? I'm not seeing him.
He's like 17.
Yeah, he's like
absurd.
17.
All right, we're going Cam Ward here at number 2 after trade with me and Broshma. Guys, I feel like we don't really need to touch upon this one. I feel like this one just makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
I feel like both teams got to be happy about this trade, right? If you're the Browns, you're pretty happy with the compensation. If you're the Giants, you finally got your franchise quarterback.
My front office just dropped a brick, man. Golly.
Yeah, you're not going to be picking for the rest of the draft for the most part. But this one is pretty easy to me now because I was thinking Abdul Carter or Cam Ward at number 2. Now that we fell, now that both quarterbacks are officially off the board, under that assumption that they are going to trade Myles Garrett, I am going to go with Abdul Carter. You get a guy that very well could be a top 10 edge rusher in the National Football League very easily. And now you have a haul of picks, like we said, to build around your franchise quarterback that you're going to get in next year's draft. So we're going to go with Abdul Carter here. Dose, what do you think about this move?
It makes sense now. I think this is the best case scenario because I think last time we did the mock, we also took Abdul Carter. So if you are going to trade off of Myles and get those 2 first-round picks and then go that whole direction of like, let's just load up on draft picks, which might be the best shot for them getting out of just the massive disaster they're in is draft picks because it's going to be cheap. Yeah. So be able to do that and still get the edge rusher and to replace it, this is probably best case scenario, I feel like, for the Browns.
I agree. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it helps both teams equally right there. So I think that was a good one.
Brushmo, what do you think?
I think you're a douche. Can't believe you did that to me.
What do you mean I gave you Cam Ward? You know, give and take, Broshmo. Give and take a little bit. But Derek, you are up next on the clock. You got the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Where are you going?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with offensive line help here.
Ooh.
I think that we definitely could see a situation here where I think the Patriots could be looking for some position flexibility. Um, and I'm actually going to go with Armand Membu, tackle out of Missouri for this pick. I think he has flexibility for both guard and tackle at the next level, which I think is going to be something that a lot of teams are looking at being interested in, especially the Patriots, who are looking for just anyone to really plug right now to help out on either side of the ball. So give me Armand there with the Patriots at number 4.
Wow. Armand Membu. I mean, now look, the Patriots, their biggest need is at tackle. Definitely isn't at guard, but they do have a question mark over left guard currently. Membu as a tackle does scare me a little bit. 6'3". How are you going to be able to translate to the NFL? So there are some concerns there for me. I do think that there were better options. I do also think you probably could have traded down and still gotten Membu if that was your franchise guy. But Broshma, what do you think?
I kind of concur with you could have probably traded. I think even if you're looking at Will Campbell, you can maybe make a slight move down and still get that guy. But I'm kind of on the Membu train. He's a lot closer to 6'4" than he's 6'3". He's got the necessary length. I love the movement skills. My comp for him is Michael Onwenu, so it kind of fits perfectly. Just kick him in, kick Onwenu back into guard, and then have Michael Onwenu Jr. out there at right tackle.
There you go. The Patriots do need both left tackle and right tackle, so that makes sense. Dose, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if I'm Jacksonville, I'm like, dude, someone call right now. I just feel like right now, man, the options are sitting there and everybody's got to be interested. For the Patriots side, I don't think I would have taken Membu here, to be honest, but I understand why you go offensive line. As a Patriots fan, I understand why you want them to take offensive line, so I get it. But, man, I'm sitting here as Jacksonville, like, someone please get on the phone.
Dude, I got hate when I said the Patriots need to go offensive line. You know, Bleacher Report, Dose, I know you know this. Bleacher Report had us do a video about how we think our team should go about the draft. I looked at the comments. Everyone's like, this guy's dumb. They got to go Travis Hunter. And I was like, all right, yeah, because that makes sense for the team. But Dose, you are back up on the clock here. Number 5 with the Jags. Travis Hunter still on the board, surprisingly. The Heisman Trophy winner at 5. Is this where you're going to go?
Is anybody thinking moving up? No? I just want to test. Nobody's feeling it? Okay. Yeah, look, man, I think my initial plan, I was pretty set on what I want to do because I feel like this team needs an identity. And I don't feel Travis Hunter feels like the identity piece, but he brings life to a team that just needs some life. You can play him literally everywhere. And I think with him just being available, I'm not going to pass up on it. I wanted to come here, take Mason Graham. I think that defensive line just needs some sort of life in the interior. They've made some weird investments with size. I think they need to do that to dog. But because Travis Hunter's available to spark some life into Jacksonville, I'm going to take him at number 5.
Yeah, I mean, this is just good value overall. I'm someone who's very vocally not been necessarily on the Travis Hunter train. I think that a lot of people want Travis Hunter because he has that aura, because he's the coolest player in the draft, multiple positions. You can get your team's jersey with his name on the back. I think that's why a lot of fans want him. They don't necessarily think about the actual impact he's going to have, whether he's a cornerback, whether he's a wide receiver. People think he's going to play full-time on both sides of the football. That's just not realistic. Me personally, I want somebody on my team that's going to be dedicated to playing, 80 or 90% of the snaps any given season at their respective position. So me personally, I'm not as big on Travis Hunter, but he's an absolute dog. I do think he is a cornerback at the next level, not a wide receiver, but the Jags do need a cornerback anyway. Broshma, what do you think?
I like it. I mean, you essentially let one of, if not the best player in the draft fall to you there at 5, not needing to make a move. They have a big need at cornerback too, next to Tyson Campbell. They were thinking to pitch Christian Kirk. So, I mean, Hunter could come in there and supplement that, even if he ends up being full-time corner that plays 10, 15, or runs 10 to 15 routes a game. I think that's perfect, man. I think that's awesome.
Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, Travis Hunter, one of the best players coming into this, going to, a poverty franchise like the Jaguars. You gotta love it.
You guys let us know what you think about the pick in the comment section below. But next up here, we got the Raiders at 6. And honestly, I was debating even with the Raiders to trade on my earlier pick with the Cleveland Browns at number 2 before, of course, ultimately Brochmo called me up and we made that trade with the Giants. I think if Cam Ward is somebody that fell, the Raiders could be a dark horse team looking to trade up because they do not have a quarterback. Looking at the fact, though, that both quarterbacks went both 1 and 2, there's no quarterback that they're going to go here at 6. So how can they bring an identity to a Pete Carroll team? You could say that they're going to go defense, but more specifically, what I like for this team is going the offensive route because they are so depleted there. They got Brock Bowers, and that's pretty much all they got. I guess you could throw in Jacoby Myers, but even then, he's like a number 2, number 3 guy. I'm going to give them life until they find their franchise quarterback. I think one of the best ways to make that transition is by finding your franchise running back. And here I'm going with running back Ashton Genty. I mean, you look at the Raiders, they do not have a good running back. They don't have a good running game. And when are they going to get their franchise guys? Is it going to be in free agency? Is it going to be later in the draft? Is it going to be next year's draft? This is a guy that will help give you that offensive identity until you make that next transition. A guy that can be an every down back, receiving back. He can block for you. He's really good in the running game. And the Raiders have a good O-line to be able to help Ashton Genty be successful early on. So that's the pick for me with the Raiders at number 6. Dose, what do you think?
I was kind of surprised by this when you explained it, but
Okay.
I kind of like it. Like this is exciting because to what you said there, like running back position. I mean, they have spot players, right? Amir Abdullah did pretty well for him last year as a receiving back, but they don't really have any playmakers. They're going to lose some at receiver. It seems like they don't have any, but what they do have is they actually have some potential core pieces on both sides of the trenches. So they might be in kind of a unique spot where it's like, well, let's just take who we think is the best piece. I would also consider them, like you were talking about trading up, going to go get Travis Hunter. Like if that's what it took, like let's just get him at 5 right now. Let's add a special piece to this offense. So I like it. I think it's an interesting way to go about it. But Colby, they have their future quarterback. Aiden O'Connell. What are we talking about? Good.
Aiden O'Connell, who was in and out all the last season because they weren't sure if they believed in him or not. Yeah,
He had a
okay.
broken
Poor
thumb.
coaching staff.
Okay, yeah, broken thumb. Bro, what do you think about the pick?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, this is an ascendant offensive line. Get an actual. I mean, you had guys like Amir Abdullah and Sincere McCormick that were running really well behind that line. Now you get a legitimate star. Hell yeah, man. Go for it. Chip Kelly, have yourself a good day.
There you go. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a surprise. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of other needs that they could fill more than a running back at this moment, but you got to add an offensive weapon, and Genty is one of them.
Beautiful. Well, next up here, we got the Jets at number 7. Broshmo, you were on the clock. Where are you going?
So my first question would be, who wants to move up for Tetero McMillan or Mason Graham? Because I guarantee you one of those guys are about to be my pick. Is there maybe a Panthers
I don't have
team or
anyone.
a
I don't
Saints
have anyone
team?
urgently.
I don't think the Bears would move up. I don't think the Colts would want to move up for one of those guys. Derek, you're obviously a Colts fan. You would know more than me, but I don't think they'd want to trade up where they are for any of these players specifically.
I think Chris Ballard's trading down.
Exactly. So I don't think there's anybody on my list that I think would be looking to trade here.
Okay, no Saints. Saints, they like to trade up and get their guys.
See, I was thinking Saints. That problem with the Saints, from their, they have no money. I'm just like, why?
They're
would
negative 50 million cap
you
space.
can't move off of draft picks.
Yeah.
So I like the idea. It's like, well, I could get the receiver and I could just plug him in there. We got 2 receivers. I don't think I could. I think if anything, maybe I consider taking a swing with Cincinnati and just really trying to.
I
make
will
that
say
jump.
this: Indy did say that they're going to be more aggressive this year and stuff because Ballard's
Do it.
seat is extremely hot. So, he did absolutely nothing last year, and it's now costing him. So now he has to compensate for it. So he is going to try to make moves. So
Who knows? Maybe the Colts try to move up from 14 to 7, and they try to get their franchise tight end here with Tyler Warren. Is that crazy?
no, they would never do that. That is
would never do
that.
that?
That would be the dumbest thing in the world to trade up 7 spots for Tyler Warren.
Well, that's why our Colts expert.
I love
is here.
Tyler Warren, but he is not a generational tight end amongst a great tight end class. So
Well, Broshmo, looks like you're picking.
That's fine. I'm going to go with Tetero McMillan. Pair him up with Garrett Wilson and quarterback yet to be found. But hey, when you do find that quarterback, you're dropping him into a phenomenal situation with countless playmakers. and an offensive line that they're still putting together, but there's definitely some bright spots there.
You know, I like it. I think there's a lot of places that they could go. They could go Mason Graham on the interior of that defensive line. They could go Tyler Warren at tight end. But they also need help at receiver, right? They have their number one guy in Garrett Wilson, but they are going to be moving on from Devontae Adams. So who's going to be that guy behind him? Now you have a guy who can be that guy and can kind of serve in that same role as Devontae Adams, that like big outside X contested catch guy down the seam. So I like it. Dose, what do you think?
It's fun. It's fun for the Jets. Like, and the Jets, that's where I'm at. I mean, I don't think it's, I don't know if it's what the Jets should be doing right now, but I do understand it. Don't know what the heck the quarterback situation is going to look like, but if they're off the board, I wouldn't reach for one here. So I do understand it. And I hope that with Malachi Corley now going into year 2, they get him more involved, and that'd be a really good trio going forward.
Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, not a bad pick here. He needs some more weapons, and who knows what they're going to do at the quarterback spot. But yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
All right. Well, Derek, speaking of you, you are on the clock at number 8 with the Panthers.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume that the Panthers are going to pass up the obvious option. I'm gonna go with an edge guy here, and I think I'm gonna go with James Pierce Jr., the edge out of Tennessee here on this one. They already have some pretty strong defensive line interior depth with Derek Brown and such. And I think that adding Pierce on the edge, try to replace what you've been missing with Brian Burns. So I think we'll go with that at number 8.
Deadly. Now, I'm obviously somebody who believes in, hey, make sure you're starting to build around Bryce Young after the resurgence that we saw from him last season. But, you know, going the defensive side of the football, trying to build up those trenches, you can never go wrong with that. Broshman, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got to elevate that ceiling of talent when it comes to the defense, and edge is kind of the first thing I think they need to address. Outside of Javion Clowney, they really don't have much going on when it comes to that edge unit. They're going to get a healthy Derek Brown back next year, and I think they're probably going to address the secondary. I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're going to be taking their shot at Javon Holland in free agency. So, yeah, man, make that defense good.
Dose, what do you think?
I think he's going to translate well to the NFL. James Pierce, to me, I think Aaliyah's the skill set's going to translate immediately. I think he's going to be really impactful for them. So I think for him, just taking by position, if we're going to go that position, I think it's a safe pick for Carolina.
Well, Dose, speaking of you, you are back on the clock here with the Saints at number 9.
Yeah, this is so I was trying to do something crazy, and I was like, can I pull this off? And I don't think I can. This whole time I'm sitting back here like, you know, I got Miami and the Saints. Can we do a car for Tua swap right here? And I trade up and I go get the safety from Miami. You know, they're just like, let's just do something. Let's make something happen. And I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think it's going to happen. Broshmo, you got any thoughts on that? Is that something you've considered a little bit? The Dolphins?
No, I think Miami, keep your picks, and if anything, move down, acquire more picks. I mean, we've gotten a problem of like, we're paying these stars and our depth it's trash, man. It's so trash. And it's so apparent. That's the most apparent along the offensive line. And now it's becoming more apparent with the secondary. And we will draft guys in later rounds. And then once they're good, we refuse to pay them. We got problems, man.
I know it's like a huge year for your guys' GM. So I was like, well, maybe this would be the time to make that kind of swing and just shake things up and see where it goes this year. And Derek Carr could use maybe a fresh start with that offense. I don't know. Like
I don't want
Derek people
Carr.
That believe
it's our guy.
I understand that. I completely understand. But I control the Dolphins, so we're gonna make that. No, I'm playing. Let's
Actually, I have a pitch. Are you willing to move down to pick 11
with New Orleans?
With
Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm
with the Niners.
Yeah. What's the pitch? Let's see the pitch.
So I would be pitching obviously pick 11, and then it would be 137 and 138. But you would like throw me like 183.
Yeah, I'll
So it'd
throw
be
in
like
quick
a
251.
you would get a pick swap and an additional pick. I think those are both 4th round picks. I'd be
I
taking a
know what
5th
you're
round.
doing here, and I think that it makes sense for me to sit and pick, but I think we can make this make sense for us. I think there's a path to make this make sense. So we'll make the trade happen. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So we got the Saints moving down to 11 and the 49ers moving up here to number 9. Let's force this trade, which means Broshmo, you are on the clock.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Mason Graham.
Ooh. Okay.
I was thinking about trying to make a move to 8 once I knew I was gonna go with Tetsuo McMillan for the Jets. And then I heard the whole edge talk, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll sit back. I'll see what happens at pick 9, and then just kind of interject. And then, hey, thankfully, Dos brought me into the conversation. So I was like, hell yeah, let's go make a move. Let's improve the trenches. Especially, I mean, dude, on the interior, they are squishy. This is a team that loves having depth along that defensive line, and they just don't have it anymore. And now they actually get a guy here. So I'm very happy.
All right. You guys let us know what you think. That is trade number 2 of our mock draft 2.0. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. But I'm up here next, number 10 with the Chicago Bears. You wish that Ashton Genty would be here. I think this would be like a match made in heaven. But unfortunately, he's not. There's no other running back that I'm going to pick here at 10. That O-line was rough. I want to see who we got here on the interior of the offensive line. Nobody that I'm really liking here, though. What do we got at tackle? Let me just switch that up here. You see, I could go early, and I could go with somebody like Gray Zabel, a guy who in the NFL is more likely going to be a guard/center than he is a tackle. He was the guy, underline the word the, when it came to the Senior Bowl, practiced very, very well all week long. But I do feel like this is a little bit early. But at the end of the day, with that interior versatility, that ability to still play tackle, I think I'm going to do it. This is a high pick. Maybe they trade down in reality, but I think that Gray Zabel is going to be one of the best interior offensive linemen to come out of this class, and they're getting an absolute dog. It's early, but you're getting your guy. I'm going Gray Zabel. Broshmo, flame me. I want to hear it.
No, I don't mind it one bit, because I mean, if anything, it's like in my opinion, if you were drafting like a Will Campbell or a Kelvin Banks here, they're playing guard for you. With Zabel, I mean, dude, that interior for the Bears, they're all free agents, but they weren't that good last year. And that's something I imagine Ben Johnson is really going to address both via free agency and the draft. He's like, nah, did you see where I was coming from? Top 1 or 2 line. I need that. Give me that. So Zabel, he gives you that versatility. Big riser from the Senior Bowl. Heck yeah.
Hey man, we were at the Senior Bowl too, so we saw the firsthand. Broshmo, or not Broshmo, but Dose, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense for the Bears. I don't know if I would have taken this high, but I also don't know what other direction I would have went outside of just moving out if I'm Chicago at this spot. I don't know. Like, taking a tackle would have been strange at this spot. I don't think I would have went safety here. So I don't know exactly where I would have went at this position. I just think the board's kind of in a weird place. So, yeah, you can't go wrong taking an offensive lineman. The Bears' offensive lineman at points last season was such a disaster, man. I mean, there's like highlight reels of that offensive line just looking horrible. They got a little bit better, I think, towards the end, sort of, kind of, not really. They got to get that right. So it makes sense to me.
Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely like the pick. I mean, definitely need to boost up that offensive line to help Caleb Williams out. So I don't mind it.
All right, well, moving on here to pick 11, Dose, we have you back on the clock here with the Saints.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I think the Saints are, as much as they need money, they need money. They also need, I think, a playmaker. And I think based on just where the board's at, I'm gonna take Luther Burden. I want to jump on getting a playmaker with a Chris Olave. When they don't have Olave, the offenses, they just don't have any weapons right now. And Kamara missed some time last season. I think they just need some kind of playmakers offensively if they're going to roll with Carr. They tried to dress trenches heavy last offseason. So I think they just need more playmakers on that team. And Luther Burden, to me, kind of stands out a little bit with where we're at in the draft.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you didn't go with somebody like maybe like a Tyler Warren. Now, obviously, they need playmakers, so you can go wide receiver, you can go tight end, you can go any route, and it would make sense. But I think even if you go a route like Tyler Warren, you're getting a guy who's going to be a big-time receiving threat for you, but he's also going to help you in blocking. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. But like you mentioned, at the end of the day, they just need somebody to make plays, and Luther Burden falls under that category. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely adding another playmaker, another big weapon to add along with Chris Olave. So pretty cool.
What do you think, Broshmo?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Kellen Moore coming in, offensive-minded head coach, I feel like we're going to at least see, and maybe in the first round, a very offensive-focused pick, whether that be the offensive line or be another playmaker. They don't really have that, like, yak guy on the roster. They got Olave, they got Rashid Shaheed, but they don't have that player that's just elusive, explosive, can create after the catch. So I like the pick, man. It's fun.
Well, Derek, I feel like we haven't seen you on the clock in ages, but you are finally back here. You got the Dallas Cowboys. What route are you going?
In all honesty, I'm looking to try to trade back here from Dallas because you've already lost your top running back. You've already lost your top wide receiver prospect. I don't imagine them taking a Emeka Egbuka. So I wonder it's either a tackle or it's moved back here. And unless somebody wants to hit me with a trade offer, I'll probably just take a tackle at this point.
Yeah, it was who retired? Was it Zach Martin that retired today?
Zach Martin just retired, so he's guard. So now you need guard help and tackle help at this point.
I feel like they're pretty confident with Brock Huffman, or at least moving forward with him. So I feel like if they do address that, it might be later in the draft.
Is it left tackle or right tackle that's more of a concern for
Steele? Steele's been bad since he got extended.
Okay, well then that just makes my pick very easy. Give me Kelvin Banks.
Okay.
Kelvin Banks. All right. Wow, they really haven't fallen down on this board. Where is he? Wow, they have him a lot lower than I projected. But Kelvin Banks, I'm having projected as the number one tackle in this class. Others that don't, they have him as tackle 2, 6'4", 320 pounds. Absolute dog. I like this move for them. I think he definitely fits that culture and that scheme. Dose, what do you think?
I'm glad he did it with Miami Dolphins. Glad he did it. But yeah, no, I do think I'm very glad he did it. No, like I think it makes sense. I mean, Dallas have done this now for the last few years. They've just addressed offensive line, and that's when they peaked. That's when they were at their best, is when that offensive line was loaded. So taking a guy out of Texas too, I mean, this is a perfect fit for them. I love this.
All right, Dose. Well, you are back on the clock here at 13 with the Miami Dolphins.
Yep, and I'm gonna take Will Campbell here. So
Wow.
I was gonna go cornerback. I was thinking about maybe sliding over, taking a corner. But I think with where they're at, they're needing to win games this year, from what I understand from the Dolphins fans, to plug one of those biggest holes in the draft. You know what I mean?
This could not have gone any better for the Indianapolis Colts right now. If this was the board that was left there for the Indianapolis Colts at 14, like, holy shit, I wouldn't know what to do with myself if we had all these players that are here.
Derek will be pissing himself.
I would, dude. I'd be so crazy.
Now, Dose, are you making this pick for him to play tackle or guard?
Honestly, I'll let the Dolphins coaching staff figure that out. I mean, look, I think he's a tackle, but obviously a tackle, they have guys that are kind of in place here. It's going to be weird plugging him into guard, but I do think that there could be some capability, especially in pass protection, if he can get on guys quickly. So we'll find a spot for him. He's going to be out there starting regardless.
Now we have to go to Broshmo, because Broshmo, for those who don't know, is a big Dolphins fan. What do you think?
Offensive help, please. Let's keep Tua off the turf. Yeah, I mean, dude, right now, like, we have no guard, so like Will Campbell immediately just slides into guard. And if we do have like injuries or problems, then that's cool. He played right tackle 4 years in high school, left tackle 3 years at LSU. So, he's got he can play both sides of the line. So it's a very comforting pick. That's what it is.
Well, I'm up next on the clock. at 14, we got the Colts. We talked about the Colts maybe trading up earlier in this draft to get a guy that is still on the board. As Derek said, this just went absolutely perfect for the Colts. You got Tyler Warren sitting right here for you. This is a guy that's going to be a plug-in player for you, immediately be an impactful player for you, hopefully can build that connection with Anthony Richardson and get him a little bit more consistent. I don't know the last time that the Colts had a good tight end. What was it, like Eric Ebron? Maybe, Derek? I mean, you probably know better than me, but this is the guy that's going to come
wasn't
in.
even great. It was because of Andrew Luck. Dallas Clark
right.
was the last great tight end that the Colts had. Tyler
Warren could probably come in and be your franchise like best tackle to ever play for the Colts in year one. So I'm going to select Tyler Warren here. Like I said earlier, this is a guy that's going to help you make plays in the receiving game, but is also going to help you from a blocking perspective, just giving Anthony Richardson another weapon to hopefully get that value back on the first round pick that you used on him. So I'm going Tyler Warren. Derek, what do you think?
I mean, I like it. And if you ask majority of Colts Nation, they would agree with that. So yeah.
Let's go, man. Colts fans like me now. Dose, what do you think?
It just shouldn't hurt. I mean, if anything, they need to help Anthony Richardson complete passes. I mean, that's the starting point. So getting Tyler Warren, I think, will help that process. And they're a heavy run team. So, like, I don't think that's going to change in just terms of how they do things. You get a tight end that I think that you can utilize within all of, like, the run pass options, the read options, everything that you can extend him with that. I feel like at tight end, they've had, like, prototypes of being great. And now you have a guy that you expect is going to be great immediately. So this is just like jumping into like, let's just get a great player immediately at this position. Should help Richardson a ton.
Brushmo, what do you think?
I like the pick. I've been the constant like party pooper when it comes to like Tyler Warren to the Colts. Cause like, it's like, for me, it's like, how much value does that actually bring when you look at, for one, the quarterback that you have, the problems that he has had, how often are you really going to be throwing the ball? 15% of the passing volume only went to the tight end last year. And I get it. It's not like they had a great tight end position last season, but there's no denying like he's a really, really good player. So there's only so much I could poo-poo the pick.
Well, bro, speaking of you, your pick is up next. You're at 15 here with the Falcons. Where are you going?
Well, I would like to trade down because I only have 4 picks in this class. So it's like, please, sir, can I have some more picks?
Anyone?
I mean, dude, there's anybody a lot of good talent on the board.
Look, I'll throw you a quick I'll throw you something light. We can make a trade, but I got to throw you something light for Cincinnati here. Because we don't got a lot going on. Like honestly, I'd give you 17. I'll give you 192 and a future 7th. You know what I mean? We'll just throw in a couple.
Oh my gosh.
That might be the most disrespectful offer.
That is
saying that out loud.
Disrespectful.
We're looking for like a 3rd rounder.
That's crazy. No, let me. I'll
crazy.
give you a
that was
future
the Roger
5th.
Drones trade.
A future
and
5th
I'm
and
referencing the worst player in that trade.
Hey,
Patriots
Broshmo. I'll trade 24 with you for the Vikings. I'll give you our 2nd and a future 2nd.
You don't have a 2nd that like 2 future 2nd?
Does Vikings have a 2nd?
No, they have a 3rd.
Oh, they have a 3rd? Okay, well, then I'll give you
I'll take a 3rd and a future 2nd.
I'll give you a future 1st.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'll give you the future 1st then, just straight up.
So that was the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
A 1st this year, a 1st next year, 415. Wow, they hate that, but you know what? We're going to force it anyway. And instead of the Falcons being on the clock with Brochmo, we're going to have the Minnesota Vikings and Derek on the clock here at 15. Derek, where are you going?
Will Johnson.
Wow.
Maybe Will Johnson.
Will Johnson, the cornerback. I love that. Get the best cornerback for a team that, well, let's be honest, they've been struggling in that area for a while now. Will Johnson officially off the board.
That's a great pick. If I was forced to stick that pick, it's like I know Atlanta has problems with pass rush, but he's literally the 3rd player on my big board. There was no way.
It just gets to a point where now you're looking at projects versus Will Johnson's the sure deal.
Yep.
What do you think, Dose?
I love it. I wasn't sure where he's going to go. I was trying to think of a swing they'd make, but they need cornerback. It was rotation last season. They need a cornerback. And honestly, I mean, their defense was fantastic with question marks at corner across the board. So this helps them get younger, too. I mean, it's been relying on veterans for a little while here. So this is a great pick for him.
Guys, before we continue on, make sure that you hit the like button because it really helps support us here at Draftaholics and, of course, everybody at Roundtable Sports. But, Derek, if I'm not mistaken, you're back up on the clock again here with the Cardinals, right?
Yep.
Ooh, what do you got for us?
I am going to take Donovan Jackson, guard/tackle out of the Ohio State University here. They need offensive line help. He's labeled as a tackle, which I hate. I think that's ridiculous. He spent his entire collegiate career at guard, but they label him as a tackle now just because of the one few times that he's had to play tackle. But Donovan Jackson, has been a really good guy at that spot, and has had to take over in a spot he's not usually accustomed to. But I like him at either guard or tackle. He has that position flexibility, so give him that.
I like it. We're going to speed this thing up a little bit. Going on to pick 17. Dose, we got you back on the clock. Where are you going?
Yeah, keep it easy, man. We're taking Kenneth Grant. We're going to get better on the defensive line. We're going to add someone with Hendrickson. We need to stop the run. They need to stop the run better, so we'll take Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant, I like that pick. Big body in the middle, stops the run, something that the Cincinnati Bengals have been looking for a little while here. Broshman, what do you think about that pick?
Oh, I like it, man. You get to reunite him with Chris Jenkins. You actually get some meat in the middle of that defense. They desperately need it. And BJ Hill's a free agent, so it's a hand and glove fit.
Derek, you like that pick or not?
Oh, yeah.
Just point blank. Derek loves it. I like it. Straight to the point. At number 18, though, I'm back up on the clock with the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of these interior offensive linemen are flying off the board. There's no one I really love here in terms of the value, too. I think at this point you're looking, second rounder, third rounder to start addressing that. Free agency also. They need help on that defensive line, and I'm looking at a guy that I think of very highly in Mike Green. This is a guy that had a pretty good Senior Bowl, started off a little bit slower, but day 2 practiced so well that he didn't need to practice on day 3, didn't even play in the game, looked really good against projected first-round tackle, was it Josh Connerly? So I really liked his value for them. I think he could be a little bit better against the run, but a really high motor. He does not give up until the whistle is blown, the play's completely blown dead. You want that mentality. You want to lead. I think Mike Green can do that. Pin your ears back, get to the quarterback. That is what the Seattle Seahawks are getting here with Mike Green. Broshman, what do you think?
I think I was about to take Mike Green with the Bucks.
Gotcha, bro. Psych, got you, bro. Psych. What do you think, Dose?
Yeah, you and Mike Green, man. I honestly think the Patriots should take Mike Green at this point. I just think
I love it. Number 4, dude. I love it. What do you think, Derek?
I'm with it.
Thumbs up. You're good. I love it. Mike Green, of course.
Me and Mike Green, man. Mike Green's got to come on the show just because I like him that much. But hey, look, 19, the Buccaneers. I think we got Broshmo here, right, Broshmo?
Yeah, I got a backup option. Unless anyone wants to move up, I would be selecting Jalen Walker here. They're close enough on my boards where it's like, yeah, it sucks. I really wanted Mike Green, but I'm okay with Walker. I think he's still a little bit of a prospect just because he played off ball, he played edge. They used him in a versatile manner. Doesn't have a lot of snaps to his name, but there's no denying when he was playing full on edge when Mikael Williams went down that he was just tearing it up. Just ask Cameron Williams, just ask Kelvin Banks. So I'm just gonna help with that pass rush, man, or else I think Todd Bowles might be gone if that defense is pee poo poo once again.
I like it. This is also a guy that I think would fit perfectly into a Mike Vrabel Patriots type system. That type of linebacker that can set the edge, shoot the gaps, kind of has that sideline to sideline speed, kind of like that Jamie Collins type of role from back in the day, but a guy who's going to be able to really apply that pressure on a quarterback in the right defensive system. I like it. My dyslexia looked up edge rusher while I was thinking linebacker, so looked a little bit dumb there on live. But Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, not a bad pick. I like it.
What do you think, Dose?
Yeah, I love me some Jalen Walker. I think he's going to be fantastic in this year. And I think Tampa Bay's a fantastic fit. Let him play aggressive, let him fly around, and he's going to be awesome immediately.
Well, moving on here, Derek, you're back up on the clock here at 20 with the Denver Broncos. Who are you going?
I'm going Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver from Ohio State at this pick. They need offensive weaponry, and Egbuka probably has the lowest floor or the highest floor of any wide receiver in this draft class. And it just seems like a perfect pick for, a Sean Payton-led offense with Bo Nix as the quarterback.
Yeah, I could see a world in which Egbuka ends up being, like, down the line, the best wide receiver to come out of this class. Maybe that's a hot take, but I could really see that happening. Broshman, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get that consistent chain mover there for freaking Bo Nix. I mean, I think this is exactly what you need for Bo Nix. Get him his, like, Tez Johnson like receiver that just will always be open, always can be that security blanket you could go to.
Dos, what do you think?
It's a good receiver room. I mean, they put together a really good receiver room very quickly over there. There's a lot of excitement with this draft pick.
Well, Dos, you're back up on the clock here at 21 with the Steelers. Where are you going?
Hey,
Yeah,
Dos,
so
if you don't have a pick, I'm willing to pitch a trade.
He's got to sound good, bro. Broshman, what team are you?
Well, the team I'd be pitching for is the Packers.
Okay, I'm willing to listen, but it's got to be fantastic.
I'm
Because I
willing
think
to-
we're trying to move up for the guy that I'm about
How
to
has
take, so.
nobody selected Malachi Starks yet?
He's a dog.
That's what I want to know. Like, how has nobody chose that man yet?
Well,
Well,
sure, I need to be
considering
blown
this is the
away, man.
Packers, it's not Malachi Starks. So I would be giving up 123. So,
So
this
We're going to
replicates.
select John A. Barron. Let's put the pick in. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, that's fine.
Actually,
Yeah, we're taking John A. Barron, man. Look, bro, I heard you, man. It sounded
It's fine.
kinda
It's
good.
fine. I'm just gonna offer it to the Chargers now.
5'11". All right,
Gotta
we're gonna
lock
go
in
with
the
Barron.
corner, man. They don't have a number 2 or a number 3. I mean, Cameron Sutton was their number 2. He's kind of rotating in last year. This is a team built on defense, and this is what the draft has. So I'm going to take a cornerback.
That's fair. Well, I'm up on the clock here at 22 with the Chargers. Broshmo, I see my phone ringing. Is that you?
That is me. That is me. Hey,
Schmo.
I have a 4th round pick here if you want it to move up one spot.
You know what? I don't think you're going to go with the player that I'm thinking of, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
That works. That works.
So we're going to go with the Packers.
Just in case. I knew who I wanted to jump specifically.
We're
And
just
it'll
gonna-
make more. It'll make more sense once I explain.
So the Chargers are trading down one spot with the Packers, getting an extra 4th round pick. We're just going to force this here. And that means that Broshmo, you're on the clock.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and try to get an alpha wide receiver. I'm gonna go with Matthew Golden here for
Ooh.
the Packers. I love Golden's tape, man. I think he's gonna do phenomenal next week at the combine. I think Isaiah Bond got banged up, they had Gunnar Helm, but then Golden was like, "It is my time." He became the alpha, the omega. This man has great ball skills. I love how he runs his routes. Like, he can just squeeze that cushion between him and the corner real quick. He accelerates, deaccelerates really well, knows how to tempo everything. You got Christian Watson out for he had a late season ACL, right? So, like, they're looking for the guy, and I'm willing to take a shot, even if it costs me a 4th for the guy.
I like it. Golden is really moving up draft boards. He's really getting a lot of respect as of late. So I don't think this is unrealistic at all. Dos, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if Packers taking a 1st round receiver is going to sound crazy, but it's like at some point we kind of think that it's just going to happen. And I think in this draft, it actually makes a ton of sense. I think this trade makes a ton of sense. I think where the receiver position goes after this draft pick makes a ton of sense that you'd want to jump on it now. So I actually love it for the Packers. Packers need to have more man beaters. They also need more consistency. They had way too many drops last season, so they need a receiver.
Derek, what do you think about the move?
Not a bad one.
Perfect. Simple, short,
Okay.
to the point. I like it, Derek. I like it. Not saying a lot, but I like it. So I'm up next on the clock here at 23. There's a couple of routes that I'm really thinking about going here. I'm putting it on my Harbaugh cap. I'm looking at what he did in Michigan. I'm really looking at Amari and Hampton here because we know that Harbaugh likes to run that offense through a running back, through that running game, likes to take that pressure off the quarterback and the receivers. But I think that this is a really good running back class. You also don't see a whole lot of running backs going in the 1st. You could also get a guy via free agency, via trade. So I'm gonna go with the route that they're gonna get a running back that way. And I'm going to go with a former Harbaugh player with tight end Colston Loveland, reuniting the two. I think that this is a match made in heaven. I think this is exactly where Harbaugh's looking at. You're getting a guy who's going to be a receiving threat for you, runs really good routes, doesn't drop passes, and has experience within that system. Brochma, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, dude, Will Disley, he showed, hey, I'm not the best receiving guy here at the tight end position. Get another guy. I'm a very good tight end too. So Loveland would be that, man. I think he's got the best receiving upside from the tight end position in this class. He's just a very good athlete, can create that mismatch. He's got natural ball skills, does need to bulk up because things get a little hairy in traffic and at the contested catch point. But outside of that, man, Loveland's nice.
What do you think, Dose?
I love it. I love it for the Chargers. I think it's an awesome fit. I love it.
What do you think, Derek?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, it definitely makes sense to get Loveland in with the former Harbaugh coach.
Now, Dose, is this you that's back up on the clock?
No,
this
I got
is me, buddy.
This is
Who's-
Brochma's back on the clock. Okay.
Who's got the Texans? Who's got the Texans?
We're moving around a lot here, so I'm starting to get a little confused.
I'm going to start calling. Hold on.
So we got Brochma on the clock here with the Falcons at 24. Brochma, where are you going?
All right. So I'm feeling great if I'm the Falcons right now. And real quick, I'm just looking at the comment section. And it was like, oh, Packers, they need to win through the trenches. I understand, but we get our wide receivers on day 2 and day 3. That's your problem. That's your problem.
That's what Aaron Rodgers
you
tried
need a
to tell you
receiver.
all those years ago.
True.
Anywho, I'm feeling good. I was able to get draft capital in next year's class. I'm looking at some of the players that have fallen. And I think this is where Malachi Starks now comes off the board. Justin Simmons was PP poo-poo. Get someone you pair up with Jesse Bates. They're not going to have the financial resources to really test free agency and bring in a solid safety outside of a veteran option. So if the board fell this way, it's a deep edge class. Maybe we could get that in round 2.
I like it. So I think next up here we have Dose, right?
Yeah, Derek, what do you
Yeah.
Okay, I would like the Lions to trade this pick with you at 28. I'll give you let me see their picks just so that way I know for sure. I'll give you 60 and a third rounder next year.
Dang, because I'm pretty sure you're taking my guy. So worried about this.
I doubt it, but
Nah, come on,
I
dude.
doubt it.
I'm not taking your dude. Don't worry about it.
You know what? I'm here for the fun. Maybe he'll last. We'll do the trade. Let's make it happen.
All right. So we got the Texans moving down. We got the Detroit Lions moving up. Derek, you are officially on the clock.
All right, let's see if I take Dose's guy here. Jihad Campbell at 25. Want to take him and fill in a need on that defense. A guy that can play off ball and can also rush after the quarterback as well. Give me Jihad Campbell there.
Brushman, what do you think about that move?
Yeah, I think they're coming up on Derek Barnes' contract. He's coming off injury. Anzalone's nice, but you're gonna have to find someone to play next to Jack Campbell. So I like Jihad Campbell. I mean, shoot, you could have the Campbell twins, brothers from another mother, up there playing linebacker.
I never thought about that. That's
Dose, do you like that move?
I don't dislike. I think the second part you hit on is the key, actually. Well, it's the Alex Anzalone situation. I love Alex, but I do think our backup to Alex is very questionable. And I think that, look, he's out under contract for more season. Barnes is set to be a free agent this offseason. So I think going forward, finding that piece is going to be important for what we do defensively. So I don't dislike it. I don't think I would have went there, but I don't dislike it.
I think the fun thing is here, you remember a few years ago when James Houston, he came in on just passing sets and just tore it up. Campbell can do that. He's a former edge player. So it's there's going to be a role for him.
Oh yeah. And we need that. We don't get enough pass rushing production out of that spot right now anyway, even with Derek Barnes. Yeah. So anytime if we can get more out of that spot, I'm with it. I'm 100% with that kind of piece for this team.
Well, I'm up next here on the clock at 26. I don't really love the way that the board has necessarily fallen here for the Rams, but I'm going to look at who's there at tackle still. I like Simmons, but I don't like the injury concern. So I don't really like him here. I think his stock is going to fall. I like Ursary, but I do think that he's more of a second round guy. I'm going to look at a guy like Josh Connerly, really help staple the trenches there. They might be dealing with some quarterback turnover despite what may or may not happen there with Matthew Stafford. So I'm going to go with Josh Connerly, address the trenches. It helps out the pass game. It helps out the run game. It's not a sexy pick, but your offense starts with the O-line. So I'm going to go with Josh Connerly here. What do you think, Broshmo?
Yeah, it makes sense if they don't bring back Alaric Jackson. And even if they do, you look at that right tackle spot, Rob Havenstein. He's like 32 going on 33. So maybe you're going to want to get a little younger at the tackle position in general. So he's a good fit for Sean McVay. I don't know why I forgot Sean McVay's name.
What do you think, Dose?
It's a huge need. I mean, I don't completely understand the trade thing, but I guess it's they want a first-round pick, so I guess I get it. They got paid enough, or if they got enough for it. But look, this is a team that when their offensive line is right, that's a good football team, and they've become more of a run team. Like they've changed their style of who they are, so they need to keep getting better in the offensive line.
Yeah, they also are a team that heavily believes in the trenches, so a move that would make a ton of sense. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense. You want to add some help to the offensive line. Connerly seems very much like a type of player that would fit with that LA system.
Now, Broshmo, I believe you're on the clock here at 27 with the Ravens, correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
I am. And before I get to the pick, I feel like I just want to get at the comment section real quick. One more time. Two-tone. This is great discourse. Because he responded to my whole like, hey, big reason why you need receivers because you don't prioritize them in the first round. His reply: how did the Chiefs' first round wide receiver work this year? They made the freaking Super Bowl. What have the Packers been doing?
Got you there.
Just going back.
He got you there, man.
Anyway, I want to stick and pick this. I'm going to go with Mikael Williams for the Ravens here. He's just got God-given talent, even if it hasn't turned into consistent production yet. Get in there and develop him. They got Kyle Van Noy. They got Odafe Oweh. Those are fine options, but you could tell early in the season that their coverage was struggling, and a lot of that had to do with, well, they just weren't getting enough pressure. So let's try to solve that problem with tools and lots of them.
I like it. This is a team that always has a good defensive line. It feels like they always address the defensive line, even when there's a slight need or they need slight depth. So not a surprise at all. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that seems very much like a Ravens pick for that. So I could see it.
You like it, Dose?
Yeah, I think positionally it's perfect for him. I mean, it always feels like he's been on like the trade block for a little bit ever since he's come into the league. Like, I don't know if he's going to stay. David Ojabo, I don't think has really done much there at all. Unfortunately, we know he came to the NFL with the injury. They need that. They need something to click there. So I think this makes a ton of sense.
Well, Dose, you are back up on the clock here at 28 with the Texans. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm excited. Derek Harmon. I'm going to take Derek Harmon, put him on the defensive line. I think their interior is a disaster. And I think that last season, as good as their defense is, their interior, to me, was the biggest issue. I mean, both defensive tackle spots are messy. I think this gives them some pass rush juice while also giving them the size for run defense in the interior. There's some flexibility there for both defensive tackle spots. I think it's a good fit.
Well, Dose, you're on the clock again here with the Washington Commanders. Where are you going?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked at all. Back the clock. No, let's. Okay. So if Washington needs an offensive tackle, then we're sitting in a great spot right here. Let me make sure I don't miss out on anybody here that I want to take. Okay.
Just take the obvious one, you know.
Yeah,
just,
see, I know what you want me to do, Derek. You know,
Demetrius linebacker.
Yeah, just take the obvious.
This is a guy from Ohio State. I know that's where you
Yeah,
want me to do.
just take the obvious one, you know.
I'm considering though, you know, kind of going a little off here with this one, and you know, just get a little swing on the defensive line to get a different name in the mix. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take T.J. Edwards I'm going to take him out of South Carolina and put him on the defensive line. I know he's kind of more of an interior. That's his build specifically. But this is a team that's kind of overhauled the defensive line a little bit over the last few years. I think he could potentially play some DN, but I think that even as a frame at about 285, I think that he's built pretty well, and he plays really well in the interior, holds up well. So I think there's flexibility here. So we'll take Edwards. TJ Sanders. I'm sorry, I said Edwards.
Yeah, I was like
Sanders.
TJ Edwards.
TJ Edwards. Wait, am I missing a guy here? I've never heard of this dude.
Y'all are roll with it though. You're like, this is okay.
I didn't want to.
I was trying to figure out the Chicago trade.
You were really confident with what you were saying, so I didn't want to be like, hey, bro, that's not a dude in the draft.
Hey, you don't want to take Tyreek Williams, the tank in the middle? Dude.
No, I don't trust Tyreek, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Not for round one. I don't trust him.
Well, I am back up on the clock here with the Buffalo Bills, my final pick at 30. They need receiver help, but I really don't like any of the receivers here at 30. Demetrius linebacker here, man.
Oh.
Demetrius linebacker would look really good here with the Buffalo Bills. Also, Dan Mitchell getting Demetrius Knight would go full circle. For those who don't know, Dan actually interviewed Demetrius Knight at the Senior Bowl. Great interview. Check it out on Roundtable Sports Instagram and Twitter. But I think that they need more help on that defensive line. I think that we saw in the Super Bowl, the Eagles' ability to get to Patrick Mahomes is a big reason on why they stopped him, a big reason why they won that Super Bowl and dominated as much as they have. There's a blueprint on how to disrupt Mahomes and disrupt the Chiefs, and that's by, of course, applying that pressure. So I'm going to go with a guy like Walter Nolan, big guy in the middle, big fan of him, kind of surprised he fell this far. I think this is really good value. So I'm going Walter Nolan here for the Buffalo Bills. Broshma, what do you think?
Once again, that was, I think, probably gonna. I was tossing between two guys. You helped narrow it down for me.
I did.
But I love Walter Nolan, man. I got him 11th on my board. I think sky's the limit with him. He's just continues to grow stronger, faster, former 5-star, and just broke out this past season. So you get to polish some of this stuff. He plays on the ground a lot, but man, just so much talent, dude.
What do you think, Dose?
If it's gonna work for a team, it feels like Buffalo. Like Buffalo can have a defensive line with that build, that prototype build that actually could work in the NFL. So I'm not mad at it. They want some sort of pressure. So if they don't get Garrett, they're gonna want something like this, and he's going to bring that.
Do you like the move, Derek?
Yeah, I do. Nolan is a great athlete, and I think that like Broshma said, like if anyone would make it work, it would be the Bills. So yeah.
Well, Broshma, we got you back up on the clock with your final pick at 31 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Where are you going?
So my other option here was going with Josh Simmons, excuse me, tackle out of Ohio State. Hey, we all saw the Super Bowl. Outside of what Kendrick did to Drake, what the Eagles D-line did to the Chiefs offensive line was disgusting work. They didn't blitz once that game.
Nope.
Like straight up 4v5 and you were beat
6 sacks.
Beat bad. So you got to do something, man. They don't have the financial aspect, I guess. So they don't have the cap space to really go out and make a difference on the offensive line. So you're going to have to keep drafting until you get it right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, like I said earlier, I think he's a really good player. I'm just concerned with that injury. When is he going to be able to return? But like the Chiefs, you're picking at 31. You still have Patrick Mahomes. You still have a good all-around roster. You'll be able to go out in free agency and spend a little bit of money too. So this is a guy that you can kind of be a little bit more patient with given their specific circumstance. Dose, what do you think?
I think it's a great value spot for him, to be honest. I think getting Josh Simmons here, we know they need offensive tackle. I mean, you can't have Tooney playing left tackle. That's a disaster. You're just going to play teams that you just don't match up with. I think that's what it was. They just played a team that they didn't match up at all with, and we saw what happened. So, I mean, Kansas City constantly is in the spot where it's like, yeah, just take a need. I mean, we talk about playing the best player available. They could just take a need because they're here all the time. It feels like they make everything else work out. And I think based on the board, kind of just fell in their lap. This makes sense.
Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you need to get offensive line. I mean, no doubt that that was the biggest flaw. It's now been the biggest flaw in the Chiefs' 2 Super Bowl losses that they've sustained over the last few years has been their inability to protect Patrick Mahomes for any considerable amount of time. So you got to continue to try to find those missing pieces on that O-line.
Well, Derek, you are up on the clock with the final pick of our mock draft 2.0. Philadelphia Eagles. Where are you going?
Real
Just
quick,
make
real
it
quick.
easy here. I'm gonna go
Notes?
with.
You trying to trade?
I mean, look, I got Cleveland at 33, so I'm like, if it doesn't cost a lot, if we could just jump up and ensure we get our pick here.
I mean,
But look, here's what I'll say. We got like 1,000 day 3 picks, just so you know. Okay, there's about 12,000 picks here. So.
You know what? I wouldn't even be mad about it.
You want to be bad about it? All right, I'll throw you a quick little 199 piece, and we'll just keep it moving.
199 piece. No, give me
you
the
put me on the spot.
give me 178. Give me 178.
I can't do 178. You know
Yes,
what I
you
mean?
can.
Can't do
You
it.
can
No.
give me 199. You can give me 178. Don't play me
No.
like
I
that.
don't have,
How much is that
I don't
fifth
have-
year option worth?
178. I don't want to hear no
I
offers
don't
if
have
you ain't
access.
giving me no 178.
It's unfortunate. I just don't have access to this. I mean, I okay. You know what? I can give you
it-
191.
Colby,
as long
do
as we're staying
not
in the 90s.
accept that trade if he does
Look-
not give me 178.
What
I'll
about
give you
191?
191. I'm upping the
No
offer. This is how
178
bargains
or
work.
no freaking deal.
What about 191 and 216?
It's a middle ground, I'll give him a future 7th. Throw in a future 7th. Next year's 7th and 191.
Yeah, so 215 and 191, right?
It's a future. If not the future, not today's future or the next 2 days' future. Future of next year.
27?
Yeah, future 2026 7th.
2026, 20,
Yeah.
27 or 2026?
Give me.
2026. Look, we got to make this deal. I'm telling you. We gotta
I,
make it.
whatever,
2026.
fine. I don't have the patience for this
See,
tonight.
this is what you got to do. You got to bully him into the trade.
Okay, well, the Cleveland Browns are moving back up
Yeah.
for 191 and a future 7th for 32. All right, well, I don't know if that would happen, but those you're back on the clock, I guess.
As Broshmo said, you need a 5th-year option. And that 5th-year option is going right to Jalen Milroe, pick number 32 to wrap up the first round. We need our 5th-year option because of where we're at with our quarterback situation. So that option is gonna be very valuable, and this doesn't take us a lot to make it happen.
Wow, this really reminds me of the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl against the Patriots. They were at 32. They traded out with the Ravens for Lamar Jackson, who ironically Jalen Milroe has some comps to. So that's interesting. Broshma, what do you think?
I do think that's interesting. I mean, the 5th-year option, you're moving up to, and you were probably going to take that guy first in the 2nd round. To get that 5th-year option, you're basically giving up chump change anyway. This is why you acquire those picks, so you can make moves like this. So, yeah, I like it.
Well, guys, that is going to wrap up our mock draft 2.0. This one with trades, our mock draft 1.0 we did last Thursday live here was an entire first round like we just did, but with 0 trades. Make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Make sure you guys let us know in the comment section below what you like, what you didn't like, who got it right, who got it wrong, and what would you have done different. We want to hear from you in the comment section below. We'll also have this up on the Roundtable Sports Instagram and Twitter in case you want to go back and look at it yet again. But as always, we appreciate you so much for watching. As always, if you guys want to tune in to another episode of Draftaholics, make sure you tune in live next Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe here to Roundtable Sports so that you get notified every single time we post, every single time we go live. You guys are not going to want to miss out on it. But until next time, of course, stay safe.